yeah, so that's when I decided to try your program out, and everything sounded like a little bit too good to be true, to be honest. But obviously now, knowing what I know and being through your program this long too, I've definitely learned a ton that I don't know where we would be if I hadn't put together some of these processes. If they're serious about growing the business and understanding what processes could be put in place to make your life easier, this is what you need to do.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. James Blackwell here, and today we have a very special guest, Reyna Martinez. Now, Reyna has been in the Recruiter Accelerator program and in the agency blueprint for, I think, over a year now. And Reyna was just going to basically share her story and everything really around like being a recruitment business owner, her struggles, her journey, her successes, and hopefully you'll find some golden nuggets from Reyna. So welcome, Reyna, and thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Cool. So if you could just tell the audience a little bit about your business and your background and what your agency specializes in, that would be great, Reyna.
Sure, no problem. So my agency specializes in HR recruitment, and we're based here in Southern California, primarily in the Orange County market and San Diego. And we are of an agency really that focuses all across the HR space. So anything from administrative assistants within human resources all the way up to human resources directors or executives. And a lot of the times recruitment, especially now with a lot of companies looking for talent acquisition folks and expanding their teams within that. So our search is definitely diving into recruiters, talent acquisition, and then all levels of HR as well.
Brilliant. So I suppose like let's reverse things back to the start and when you first started out, Reyna. So when was that, and what was like, why did you actually start your own business?
Yeah, so I I started the organization because I wanted to really begin or to have an offer out to our clients with recruitment services for HR. There wasn't really a agency that I had known of that specialized in HR. And we were actually, this is like end of 2019 when I had the idea and was inspired to just try to do this on my own. I had never really thought about running my own business or really starting an organization like this. I had been in staffing for over 10 years and had been with various companies and doing very much the same thing, helping clients find people and people finding opportunities. But it was really driven by just the field of HR. And I enjoyed working with those folks and really helping the entire organization, and starting from the HR department where it trickles down to the rest of the workforce. I just had a special connection to the department that really handles the workforce of the organization. So that's why I chose that field. And I love the people business. I've always been really intrigued by recruitment. And actually, the first time I even kind of was introduced to recruiting or to staffing in that sense was as a temporary employee myself. I went to an agency looking for work, and I was just blown away by the idea of helping clients find people for their organization. But also in my case back then, I was just an employee looking for an opportunity. So I didn't really know where to go or where to start. So I like that interaction with someone that's going to help you and guide you. And so just the recruiter hat for me was natural. I really like helping people, obviously. And I feel it's the most rewarding type of career to help somebody find a career, or also, just excel in their professional careers. So yeah, that's kind of where I started and where I started from the beginning.
Yeah, cool. So what was your first owning the business, and what was that like in terms of like winning your first clients? What was your processes back then, and what was the performance like in the first year and experience?
Sure. So this was end of 2019 is when I went live and it all happened. But then, as you know, pandemic was right around the corner in February in 2022 or 2020. And so had no idea where we were going to go from that sense. And so the first year was just a ball of question marks, better way to put it. I had been doing staffing for many years. So I had an idea of, the actual service is helping clients find people. And I knew how to do that really well. But the business side, I was brand new to. I had never, as I mentioned, ran a business before. I wasn't even really hoping one day to do that. It kind of was an idea that got sprung onto me, and I just had it in my heart to try it out, and knowing that it was an opportunity too for me to grow professionally. So yeah, the first year was definitely a lot of ups and downs, just with not knowing, like, okay, well, are these orders that I'm getting going to actually get filled? Because a lot of clients were providing us with orders and then canceling because of, shutdowns and that kind of thing. So it was really challenging to define which ones should we work on and which ones shouldn't. The beautiful thing, though, is I did find success with just knowing that I had a really core client base that wanted to provide us with business, but just from, not knowing, will they be able to work from home, or will they be remote, or whatever the case. So it was challenging. And I also think that's kind of where I met you, and I saw a YouTube video of yours that I was like, oh, well, that sounds really interesting. I'd like to, because for me, I'm an avid learner. I am addicted to learning. I like the idea of not knowing something and then mastering it. So that's kind of how my first year went. But ultimately, we did well. We did fine, and now we're going on year 2.
Yeah, awesome. So when did you like start working with myself, Reyna? Like, how many months was it?
Sure. So I want to say I was in business already for at least 6 months, maybe a little bit more. And that's when I started dabbling in the idea of, like, okay, well, now that I got my feet wet and I have an idea of how I'm actually acquiring business and acquiring my clients, which was the old fashioned way of just having contacts and knowing, how to use my people skills to identify needs of a client and then bring them in. But I was really driven by, how do I make this a system? How do I make it duplicatable, and also be something that it will be easy to follow for the team members that I will be bringing on, and that kind of thing. So magically, or call it the universe, but your YouTube clip came in, and I was like, oh my God, I was just thinking about how am I going to do this? And so, yeah, so that's when I decided to try your program out, and everything sounded like a little bit too good to be true, to be honest. But obviously now, knowing what I know and being through your program this long too, I've definitely learned a ton that I don't know where we would be if I hadn't put together some of these processes.
Yeah, no, it's good to hear. So, like, why did you choose to work with me then, Reyna?
I think one of the key things that really caught my attention was understanding that within a business model, obviously you need it to be something that was going to be easy to follow and duplicatable, as I mentioned. But also, I am a fan of systems. Like, I consider myself very efficient and productive with my time, or I try to be most of the time. But I knew too that if I was going to run my own business, I didn't want it to just be about being a business owner. Like, I have no kids now. I'm married, been married for many years, but I have a personal life with dance. I think I mentioned this a long time ago when we first connected, but I have a passion for dance. I also wanted to do something that would allow me to continue that and do it as a hobby or on the side until I can make something of it from a business standpoint. But I wanted flexibility. So that was another thing that you talked about a lot within your description of your program, was being able to gain flexibility of our time while still running a successful business. So that was another reason why I was really driven to, okay, well, I'm going to try this and see if it works.
So you wanted freedom, I think, and
Yes.
a good lifestyle, yeah, which is what most
Good
people.
lifestyle, freedom, and also feel comfortable with the services that I'm providing to my clients, knowing that I am providing something that can't really be found elsewhere, that we have a dynamic and unique approach to the way that we do business, because there's a dime a dozen of recruitment companies and staffing organizations. And I know that we're already different in the sense that we only focus on human resources recruitment, but on top of that, I wanted to offer something different. On top of that, that would make them feel like, okay, well, they're not just about making another placement. They're not just about, closing a deal and then going and partying. Like, I wanted it to be a closer knit partnership, which is also why I decided to incorporate emotional intelligence, or just the create the awareness around emotional intelligence within our sourcing and our screening processes, because as you know, also within HR, like it's important. That's one of the departments where it can trickle down the most. And having leaders at the top in organizations really focusing on that and paying more attention to it and giving it the value it deserves, I think will really do wonders for everyone within the organization and help with retention and help people just understand each other. It is just human nature to go based on what we feel, and sometimes that gets in the way of business. So that's also a thing that I wanted to put across to my clients when describing who we are and what we do.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how many clients do you like work with actively now that you've got signed terms with and doing business with?
Yeah. So I want to say we have closer to like 30 or 40 right now. I can say that we've had quite an influx of orders and returning business, which is really nice over the last quarter or so. The last couple months are our biggest months that we've had. So it's been really exciting to see just all of the work that we've put in, and again, these processes that are now in place that are allowing us to kind of go away with the old mentality of like always selling, always closing, always reaching out and finding new business. Yes, that's always going to be needed, but I think knowing that business will come if you have a service or a product that is valuable and that people need is a better option. So I've been really fortunate and blessed to know that fortunately the clients that we have, yes, in the beginning we did a lot of outreach and a lot of like one-to-one and building those relationships, and now it's still building the relationships, but it's not the the chase of follow-up and getting someone's attention and bugging them and maybe knowing that they don't need you right now but still going after it. I don't like that approach myself. I don't like when I have people that are selling to me like that. So I like that that our approach is lighter, and it's definitely more like, here's what we have to offer. This is the value we bring, and if you need it, we'd love to help you.
Yeah. Cool. So in terms of like, I suppose like how things have been the last quarter, I think you were saying like you've probably had your best quarter yet.
Yeah, we have. I can say I was just counting yesterday actually to see where we're at, but we've had 8 offers, I think, in the last 2 months or so. It's even scary for me to say that because it is still a small team. Honestly, we have 3 right now, 3 team members, and then 2 that are a little bit more part-time. So a total of 5 if we count everybody. But yeah, it's been really busy. It's been really exciting, and honestly, a lot of the roles that we have, we've built a great database of HR professionals that we've learned to also build relationships with, so we know what our candidates are looking for, which has been really nice. So when we get these orders that are ultra specific and niche, like we have somebody for that, and that's really the most rewarding piece, is just knowing that we found a client that has a need for this candidate that also equally wants this type of opportunity. So it's been great.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like working on building like a candidate acquisition system where you've got a process where you can engage in passive talent is quite important, because a lot of people are struggling for candidates nowadays. And what they forget about is like not just being reliant on LinkedIn manual sourcing, like having a different way of like actually engaging with the passive talent, so you can actually get candidates coming inbound to you, which has been a good experience for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, people realize, as a candidate myself or anyone really on the market, they don't want to work with just any recruiter or any recruitment company, because we know, especially within HR, like there are unfortunately good recruiters and bad recruiters, and ultimately it all goes down to the relationship that you build and the trust, because not everybody, especially if you're passive, you don't want people to know that you're looking or let your employer know that you're looking. So it's important to have that relationship where they understand that we are here definitely for to allow them to meet their next opportunity, but have it be the right one, not just sling the resume to any hiring manager that would be interested in seeing them, because it's not really the way that people want to be treated. So
yeah.
Another thing.
And how's things for you now? Do you feel like you've got a defined plan and roadmap of exactly where you're taking the agency to and the steps, as opposed to like sort of maybe when we sort of weren't working together, and like I'd imagine you were a little bit in wilderness stage on how do you join all the dots together and how the business looks?
Oh, absolutely. I can say that even with my career in recruitment before, with the companies I worked with, um, every company has their own process or somewhat of a process or step by step, solution. But I was really trying to pull what I knew was going to be effective, and then using your system and your philosophies on on the steps that could be condensed, and then also the tools. I could not have done it without the tools. Like I love technology. I love using technology for what it is supposed to be used for. And before even connecting with you, I had already started using Trello, one of the project management apps. And before I had my own ATS, I actually built one, somewhat of one within Trello when I, was first starting out and just having candidates that people knew that, or I knew that they were looking for work, and then I would just put them in there as a candidate and go from there. So, sorry, going back on your question, I just lost it.
No, it's okay. I think it was more just knowing that you've got a direction to
Oh,
go
yes.
as opposed to step by step. Yeah.
Yes, now we definitely do. In fact, we've built our standard operating procedures around, three basic things. I have the talent count process, like what we do, and went from like lead all the way to follow up to getting the order to recruitment for the order, and then placing the candidate. And then I have two separate ones for the client acquisition system, and then also the recruiting or client or candidate acquisition system. So everything has a step. And I know if I was to pull somebody in, step 4, step 5, that person knows how to get to step 10. So it's definitely a clear process that I'm very proud of, and I appreciate you so much for showing us the different tools that can help us make the actual the work of creating the process easier with the tools that are available to us.
Yeah, you're welcome. So how have you changed yourself then, Reyna? Do you feel like your mindset's changed at all, like since like the last 12 months, and if and how that has affected other things in your life?
Yeah, definitely has. I can truthfully say that before I wasn't necessarily an avid reader. As you know, I'm involved in dance. So any extra time that I had, I would be spending on YouTube or on, dance videos, or actually going to class and things like that. Now I'm still staying active and going to class, but now a lot of my other time that I'm working on myself and personal development has been in reading. One of my favorite books is The E-Myth, which you recommended, and it's about processes. And I really like to dive into the way other people do things and how it works for other types of businesses, and how I can pull things to become more creative in the way that I make my process. And on other, from our Facebook group, and just being around other individuals that are in the same kind of ballpark as I am, as building a recruitment company and going through all the challenges that come with it, and also being a business owner and trying to figure out those things and the operation side of things, and learning the difference between working in the business and working on the business, and understanding the importance of both. So it's certainly I've changed in that sense in my professional acumen. Because I certainly wasn't, as I mentioned, like planning to be a business owner. It wasn't something that was a dream of mine or something that I had mentioned all the time when I was growing up or anything like that. But now being here and knowing that I'm doing it, I'm successful at it, and I enjoy it. Not really sure where I'll grow in terms of like how big I'd like to be. Right now, I'm feeling like I want to run a successful mid-sized business where I'm creating value for my clients, but also I'm empowering my team members and the people that work for me and with me to also reach for their dreams and do the things that they love to do outside of work too, and have the means to do it and the time. I think we'll remain a remote organization, which is another thing that is important, I know, for myself and also for the people that work with me now. But yeah, I have changed from my mentality, and just knowing to think. I've always been a big dreamer. I've always had that gene that I'm super optimistic, and I look at the bright side of things all the time, and that's just something that comes natural. But I think having that and knowing that you started a business in the middle of a pandemic is super scary, and probably would have turned a lot of people away, or just remained a little bit in in pause mode because you don't know what's going to happen, but I remained positive, and I think being involved with your program too helped a lot because it was consistent Q&As and consistent learning and consistent okay, what questions do you have today type of thing. So it kept me going and moving so that I wouldn't fall in a funk. And I've also picked up other things like meditation, which has been a big part of my life too, and changing in that sense and learning how to organize my thoughts and throw away the ones that don't serve me and move from that sense.
Yeah, that's awesome. So like, again, you mentioned like the Q&A is the community of like having a mentor, someone that's been there, done that, and then having a group community of other people that are sharing win successes and challenges. Like how did you find that like experience, and do you feel that it helped you get to the next level of like having accountability every week?
Oh, 100%. I think a lot of programs that I've heard of too are, they're great because you get the material and you understand when you're there what you're supposed to do, but that follow up and understanding like human nature is to be lazy and not follow up on things, especially if you don't fully understand things. So I think the consistent Q&As and having that group and the community of like-minded individuals that are going through the same thing, and then just kind of the wins mentally when you're on a call and people are asking questions that you were asking before, and you're like, oh my gosh, now I feel like I know the what am I saying? Like the material, you understand all the steps that were big questions for you before that were like, what did that mean? And how did you even put that together? So it feels nice to know that you're kind of graduating, if you will, from the courses and knowing that you can offer other people to support. I've had people reach out to me from the program, like Brenda, that it's just nice to know that we have other people that are going through the same type of growth or some level.
Yeah, as Jim Rohn used to say, like, you are who you surround yourself with. So the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So having a community like we've tried to build is very strong now. And I suppose like accessing the Facebook group where we've got, I think like over 160 business owners in there now. So like you've got that reached where you've got a question, you can get it answered quite quickly and be on the pulse with what's new, what's hot, what strategies are working, what's not.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great too, because sometimes we just have questions that are random and maybe, somebody can quickly respond to, oh yeah, this is how you do that, or check out how I did it and see if it works for you. And also I'm a big believer too of, even though we're all in the same business and technically we're competitors, but we're really not. Like there's enough business to go around. And that's obviously something you've been saying all throughout this course too. I wholeheartedly believe in, even if there was another company here locally that was an HR company, like I would know that it would behoove us to not collaborate and share like our ideas, I suppose, just because it is going to allow both of us to grow. And that's my mentality in total with just helping other people succeed versus thinking that we need to compete. I'm a big competitor. I love to compete. I've always been competitive, but not to the point where I will or what's the word I'm looking for? Where I would not appreciate someone else's input that will help me or will help them.
Yeah, like what we say is it's an abundance. There's billions of like it's £1 billion industry plus, so like there's opportunities for everyone. And I think like that's the key thing of like coming into a group as well. Everyone's different, unique. We've got different service offerings, different unfair advantages that we create. And there's so much different niches, and you only need a handful of clients, as you've seen, Reyna, to get to 6 figures and beyond and get to 30, 40, 50K months quite easily, just with a handful of like good exclusive or retained clients as well.
Yeah. And I think ultimately, I can honestly say I love what I do. I love every aspect of the business. Even the things that I don't understand yet, which would have to be like the financials. But every aspect of the business, from, creating a new list of leads of companies that I'm very interested in and have my specific reasons why, and then going to them and offering what we do and going through the process of just gaining them as a client, and then making these relationships flourish with our candidates that maybe we don't have the right fit for them now, but they still refer us to other people because they had a great experience with us or whatever the case. It's just all been a part of this big idea to build an organization surrounding bringing value and offering support and allowing us to live a lifestyle that is comfortable and that we work hard and play hard and be able to enjoy it while we're here. Might as well.
Yeah. So it sounds like you've got a good balance between like making good income, getting a good lifestyle, having the systems, because you've got your virtual team now set up in terms of your VAs and your virtual recruiters and
Yeah.
like your systems automation. So do you feel like it's give you a little bit more freedom where you're not having to work 50, 60, 70 hours a week?
Oh, absolutely. I think the combo of just being ultra or trying to be ultra organized whenever I do have a thought that is an assignment or a task that I know my virtual team can handle and they're happy to, it's just a relief because I know that things will get done and I don't need to be the one doing it because I know my process takes longer than the way their skill set or whatever the case is. And
Mm.
just knowing that if we organize everyone's strengths and we understand like where everybody's roles lie and how it all comes together at the end, it really allows me to do the things that I love to do and allow them to kind of focus on the work that they need to do and then go do what they need to do. So everyone gets to win in that sense. But yes, it's definitely freed a lot of my time, and you know, I'm flying out today to Vegas on a trip. And I know before I would be super hesitant to take time off or to even, it's been great too, because I've been working from like multiple locations. Like I'll work in San Diego or I'll work in LA or I'll work at my mom's house, which is all the way in Yucca Valley, which is kind of far. So I'm always on the go. And that's always been nice. Because I'm not tied to needing to feel like I am glued to the business or my laptop or whatever. I feel the flexibility knowing that I have a virtual team that's allowing me to live this way and work this way. But everyone has their strengths that we're pulling from.
Cool. So what's your plans like for the next like 12 months? Like where do you see your business? Like what aspects are you going to grow? Like what does that look like?
Yeah. Honestly, for me in my dream time, I certainly see our business growing. I want to say maybe by next year have 8 to 10 people working with us. Maybe next year is aggressive, but I would rather shoot high and see where we land. But I definitely feel I want to continue, as I mentioned, like a remote team, but have recruiters across the globe that are doing the HR staffing that we do. And that way, I really want to build a diverse team and have those different experiences from all over the place that we're all coming together and working super far away, but collectively in a way. And then also have time to, we work with WeWork. So work with them either whatever location we go to. So I want to grow from that perspective. And also, of course, financially, I want to be able to do a lot of different things and projects and buy a house wherever it is that we end up. We probably are looking at doing that soon. And yeah,
Where do you want to get revenue wise the next 12 months?
Good question. I think for us, revenue wise, I certainly want to be in the 300K range at some point sooner than later. I know that it's doable. It's just a matter of, allowing all the positions that are coming in to get filled. So that's my next target.
Awesome. Great. Well, I suppose like just if anyone was like on the fence, like about joining the program and getting into the mentorship program, like what would you say to someone that was like sort of like on the fence?
I would say that you won't be as on the fence as maybe you would have been if you started the business during a pandemic. I think now knowing that, businesses are hiring again and hopefully things are turning the corner, starting a program like Jane's and having the support that is involved with knowing that everyone that's in the program themselves has already made the decision themselves too, and is equally as scared and equally as skeptical of like, okay, well, am I really going to get value out of this? What's my return on investment? All those things, like what you learn, especially in the first few weeks and some of the phases that you have, are definitely going to change the way that you operate your business. And if you were in a race between somebody who is and isn't in the business, or with you not in it and the other person in it, and you're at the same level in your careers in your business, that other person will certainly excel. And I don't know anyone that would want to be staying behind. So I would say for sure they should try it out. Really know that if they're serious about growing the business and understanding what processes could be put in place to make your life easier, this is what you need to do.
Yeah, awesome. Because that's the thing. Like, I think most people don't invest in themselves, Reyna.
Yeah.
So you tend to find like the people that come into the program, they pay for the ticket entry to they're committed and they're all in, and it makes you take action, gets better results. And like a lot of other people are trying to do research, like go on YouTube, go on, try and Google it. And you know how far behind you'd probably be like 12, 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, trying to figure all of those things out by yourself without any help. Because I still have mentors. I still pay for programs. I even just did one last week. Because once you start making money and you do better in business, you've always got to keep improving. You've always got to keep investing in yourself, because the biggest investment in yourself, because you have that asset and knowledge for life that you can use to make more money, give you the better lifestyle and better freedom.
Yeah. Absolutely. I would 100% agree. And I think too, just making this decision to start your program and knowing the outcome and understanding like, okay, it is something you're going to invest in, but it's something that is going to give you so much more value and also allow you to open the gates to other things that could do the same for you later. Like little things that you're like, oh, well, I don't know if I want to invest in that. Now my mentality is like, I want to invest in that because I see that I know and I believe in myself that I can get the value out of it if I put the time in too. So from that sense, I think it is a little bit of a training wheel to allow yourself to grow. Just do it, try it. And I think the other thing too is trust yourself, trust that you will be able to succeed and to take in, what you need to follow whatever next path you have and into your next goal. So
awesome. Well, thanks for that session, Reyna. I hope the ladies and gentlemen on the show managed to get some golden nuggets out of there. Do you have a final little bit of advice for anyone like that's in the recruitment business now or looking to get started or anything like that? Any tips?
Yeah, I would say maybe not a tip necessarily, but more of a kudos. This is certainly an industry that I think is the best one. I mean, obviously we're in it, we might be biased, but I think it's certainly an industry where we're really giving value back and also, or providing value to our clients and to our candidates, but also this business can really, I think, change the way that we look at other aspects of our life. And knowing that you've done it and you've created something from scratch, and we don't have a product that we're selling, we don't have something physical that can break or that people can write a review about necessarily from that sense. Like, you are your business, people is your business. So I commend us for taking the leap and trying it out and pushing through to make sure that you follow what you'd like to do, which is the people business. I always say that, like, the people business is the best business to be in, and I'm ecstatic when I talk about it. So yeah, just a kudos to everyone that's thinking about it or contemplating it. I certainly think you should, and just pick a niche that you really enjoy and you connect with.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Reyna, for sharing your advice and your journey so far. I'm looking forward to continue to work with you in the future. I know you've obviously joined the workshop and I think eventually get an elite mastermind. So yeah, for everyone listening, I hope you found that useful. If you are interested to see how the mentorship program could work for you in Recruiter Accelerator, just check out in the link below, theagencyblueprint.com. And you can fill out a quick questionnaire survey and book in a call with myself. But thanks again, Reyna, and I'll see all your viewers soon. And enjoy your trip to Vegas.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Take care. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Cheers.